Was,
Yes, it was.
would you please do a roll call of members present?
Kraus,
Here,
Benkowski,
Here.
Caldwell, 3 in presence.
we have a quorum. Would you please rise and recite the pledge of allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We need a motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Have you had a chance to review the minutes?
Yeah.
I need a motion to approve them as written.
The motion to approve. I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and second. Any additions or subtractions to the minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Now we would, Dusty, go on to public hearings.
All right, today's public hearing is for Scott. How do you pronounce his last name? Sabrin. Okay. This is a variance request under section 396-74A5 of the Adams County Shoreline Wetland and Habitat Protection Ordinance to allow a reduced setback to the rear lot line on property located in the northwest quarter, southwest quarter, section 27, town 20 north, range 5 east, lot 12 of Barnum Bay North. The address is 565 Barnum Bay Trail in the town of Rome. The applicant is present. The request is they are building a new house. The rear property line setback is 30 feet. There's a strip of about 100 feet that's owned by the power company between Petenwell and their property. And that's the rear property line we're facing. The house itself will be 38, well, about 33 feet from the property line. So that's fine, or that meets the ordinance. They are requesting a 20 by 25 deck that would encroach into that 30-foot setback. The ordinance does allow that if it's a detached, like say a shed, that only has to be 10 foot from that property line. But when it's dealing with the house, the ordinance says 30. They did.
Real quick, we have an existing house, we're doing a deck on the existing.
Okay, that's the way I have read it.
Sorry. The deck is new, not the house.
Okay, that makes it a little easier.
Yep.
Yeah, I was- yeah.
Well, that was my fault. I did receive correspondence from the town of Rome. They do not object to the request. The town ordinance does only require a 10-foot setback to that property line. They'd gone to the town issued the permit for it, and then later found out that we needed one through the county, and that's when this came up.
Okay.
And that's all the correspondence I have.
There's a sheet in here where they do meet the criteria for variance.
Say
Did you
on
read
the
it?
top.
Huh?
There is a sheet that they supplied with their application. Yeah, you have it. And that's about the 3 criteria necessary for granting a variance.
Yeah, I got it, yeah.
So that's where we're at.
It complies with town zoning. It's all
Yes.
over.
Yep, that's what Emily is the zoning administrator up there. That's what she put on that form that it met their ordinances. And I think you already have received the permit from the town, correct? Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything additional that the applicants would like to add.
No, I certainly appreciate you considering that request today, and I think, like Dusty mentioned, we started this process last fall. where we had contacted the town of Rome, understanding the project and we understood their setback requirements and certainly we moved forward because we were well within the town requirements for the setback. And then got to this spring where we hired a contractor and started
You got this one? Okay.
started purchasing materials and planning the job further, and then the contractor went and applied for, of course, the permit from the town, where he was notified that we also required a permit from the county as well. So, you know, granted, we don't deal with getting permits a lot, but it was a little bit surprised certainly that there was two different municipalities that needed permits. So that's kind of where we got to the point where we're at now.
So basically, you're gonna be 12 feet over the line with your deck.
Correct.
Of the county ordinance.
Yeah.
Of the county ordinance.
Yes.
And still 8 feet away from the town of Rome ordinance.
The lot next door to you, 712, that'll never be built on, right? It's a power company easement.
Down here, sheet, Bob,
Yes.
short back.
Yes, there's a Lakeshore Commons area between our house and the lake, which is owned by the power company.
I'll see if I can get you a better picture. So do make sure you're talking up though, so it hits the microphone. We do have somebody online just to make sure that they can hear it. Can you let me share? So if he's at,
Yeah, good morning. Can you all hear me on the phone?
that.
Hello?
Yeah, can you guys hear me as well?
Share screen.
Hello, can anyone in the room hear me?
Corey, I can hear you. I don't know if
Okay.
anyone else can.
So this is the applicant's property right here.
They must have us muted.
You can see the lake. This is the strip that's owned by the power company. And it pretty much goes, I mean, it's like that for quite a ways. And you can see a lot of homes in there that, right in that general area.
Yes, the other thing I'll add is that when we're looking at our neighbors to the north that have similar restrictions, I mean, there are no less than 10 houses that have closer tolerance than we would have. So I'm not sure why, I guess why they had different requirements maybe when they built their home, but I did notice that several others are closer than we are.
Yeah, and there could be many different reasons for that. I mean, whether they've applied for a variance or if the ordinance has changed over the years.
Well, yeah, I've thought about this and I'll express my opinion to the group here. You're okay with the town and I'm okay with that. You're not okay with the county. It's an, you know, it's an ordinance and unnecessary hardship. And generally speaking, it's not an invalid situation. What I would like you people to leave here happy. You know, that's a hard thing to do when it's a violation of the ordinance. I'm gonna propose to the board here, the group, we negotiate that. I see there's egress and ingress windows on the house. So you're really difficult to put alongside of the house and extend it out to that 10-foot amount of land. So I would like to propose, you know, one thing would be, and I know it's a hardship, but it's not like a hard and fast. But the house has, and that's some kind of hardship, of egress windows, so you can't put it along the side of the house. Is there some way we can extend it toward the lake, but yet use some of your deck on the side of the house? And I'd be willing, you know, I mean, don't go like you have it. What I'm saying is, we would be giving you something. Can you give something in return? You know, can you modify it? Give us something to agree upon in the future.
You know, I appreciate the suggestion, and we actually thought about a lot of that and seeing if there was any type of give. I mean, we could shorten the deck some, but, you know, not to the point it would meet the requirements, unfortunately. It's just not functional, wouldn't be functional for what we wanted to use, and that's, I guess, why we petitioned the board here today, so. But.
So how much could you exceed that 10 feet, you know, and still be in a livable condition? So extend the square footage in some other direction and minimize the excess over the lot line, or the back lot line.
Yeah, I understand. So what I would ask for, I guess, in that context, is if we can extend to 20 feet within the property line, that would give us a deck that's reasonable size that I think we could live with, in addition to, you know, giving us a compromise between the town of Rome and the county's setback requirements. So that would be 20 feet from the property line. Is that acceptable?
Don't know. So you're making, instead of a 20-foot deck, you're proposing an 18-foot deck.
Yes.
Well, you know.
Can anyone hear me?
Here.
Is there any,
Hello, can anybody?
input into this?
Yep, I was just waiting until you guys got done deliberating, then we'll have to, I know there's at least one person online that I think wants to speak. Do you want me to do that now? If there's any members of the public present that wish to speak in favor of the application, please state your name. You are limited to 3 minutes. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of the application? Third time, anybody wishing to speak in favor of the application? Somebody's connecting. I'll give it another second here.
Yeah, good morning. Can
Looks
you
like
hear me?
just, Mr. Retmeister, right now we are doing the public hearing portion. Mr. or Mrs. Would you like to speak in favor of this application?
Is there an opportunity to ask a question?
All right. Anybody wishing to speak against this application?
Yeah, can you hear me?
This goes for anybody in the room too. Anybody wishing to speak against this application?
Can you guys hear us or not?
Anybody have general comments on the application or questions?
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Final time, last chance. Oh. No, I'm not hearing anybody. Give us a second. We're trying to figure out the volume here. No, it's a.
Okay, he sent message.
Wow. Okay. So let's start that over. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of the application? I think we can hear you now. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of the application?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful.
Sorry about that. Please state your name and address, and you are limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm not sure this is the right point, but I just wanted to make sure you could hear me. This is Corey Rentmeester, so I represent Ripco. We had very short notice on this, so I apologize that I was not able to be there in person. But the conversation up to this point, other than Dustin, if that's your name, who's talking, the rest of the conversation was very difficult to hear. So I guess I was just going to ask what the hardship was here that we're considering this proposal.
So in the application that the applicant supplied, the response to that was the town of Rome and Adams County do not have the same requirements for setback, and we were not aware or told by the town of Rome that a permit was necessary for both. We bought over $10,000 of materials based on the town feedback and associated compliance with the town of Rome setback ordinance. The property and existing home were purchased in 2020 to accommodate the immediate families of 2 sisters, the owners. And they are unable to comply because the home is currently 38 feet from that rear property line, which is not adequate for a reasonable sized deck.
Okay, thank you. So are you taking comments at this time, or when would be the right time to comment?
Now would be the perfect time.
Okay. So obviously Ripco owns the adjoining property. I think everybody's aware of that. And part of my role with the company is kind of monitoring our property and addressing the issues that come up. As a company, this has changed. The company has changed ownership multiple times. So, you know, what's been done in the past isn't always may have not been the best approach, but we want to definitely be more proactive when it comes to being involved with these decisions. I guess my comment to the decision makers in the room, and again, we want to be good neighbors here, but that would, you know, the variance process is meant for hardship, and the Supreme Court's already ruled that in these sorts of instances, unless the property has some unique characteristics that would prevent that structure to be built within the setbacks, that variance it shouldn't be warranted. So, you know, the 10 feet closer to the property line is not necessarily going to impact Ripco in a negative way. But I just wanted to throw that out there that this matter's already been hashed multiple times.
All right, thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment either way? Any other members of the public wishing to comment? Going once, going twice. All right, we can close the public hearing. In the board's hands.
Dustin, can you go back to that aerial view, if you would, and kind of walk up and down the water line there, and we can see some, not precedents, but some examples.
Yeah, so this is the applicant's, no, sorry.
Is there a door on that side for entrance, or is it just windows?
There's a sliding glass door
On the
on
north,
the lake side.
on the other side, around the corner?
No, on the side facing the lake where we want the deck.
Yeah,
So
because
this is the property.
Yes.
I see Bob's point about extending it out to, what would that be, kind of a northerly direction?
Kind of. Yeah.
and then making you return where that offset is. You would have, what would it be, 25, probably 30 feet of viewing for the lake if you extended north instead of over the property line.
Yeah, again, the limitation there is our egress window that, on that side of the lake, and covering egress.
You have them on both sides of the building?
Yes.
What'd you say, Bob?
If they have the egress windows on both sides of the structure.
There's two on one side and there's one on the other side.
Yeah, on the left-hand side, as we look at it, that one is quite a ways back from the corner. And matter to you at this point, where the deck goes.
And just, I don't have the sliding glass door on that drawing, but it's
This,
And there are more
it's right here.
trees. There are more trees on that side that are closer to the house than on the other side. So putting a deck on that side
We
would
don't
be,
have an access with the
yeah, it
door.
would be difficult. We wouldn't be able to take down any
yes,
trees.
you're saying the whole
Yeah.
house layout, bedrooms are over there, utility room, and everything. Well, I live on the edge of a conservancy when I put a house up. And I didn't want to come to the county, and I didn't want to come to the board meeting, so I built a deck. 65, 15 feet. If I made it 20 feet, then I would encroach on the conservancy, and I would have to come, to the BOA. So I chose on my own volition to design basically the whole thing around the conservancy. And
Yeah, and I think certainly,
my opinion is that unnecessary hardship. That's kind of a high level.
Right.
And it has a counterpart, and that's a self-imposed hardship. So,
The unnecessary hardship has to be something that should be unique to the property that prevents
yes,
this.
absolutely.
That's
yeah, and I guess
what the
that we,
criteria reads in your state planning and zoning. It has to be something that would prevent totally from building. And this,
Yeah, if we live by that rule, it's no go.
I don't know what your opinion is, but if you're concerned about viewing the lake, if you extend it in the northerly direction, you could add 15 feet onto that, you'd have, 40 feet of viewing.
Maybe wrap around the house a little bit.
Right,
maybe.
wrap it around the house and come back. You would be going, east from there to that first. You have to forgive me, I used to build houses, and we always tried to use the offset corners and incorporate them in what we were doing. And you have a perfect corner here to end your deck, according to your drawing here. So, I don't know, they've come out with the corners that are rounded now for decks. You could have a beautiful dining corner out there if you extend it northern, where you couldn't have it in the other direction.
Wrap
I
around
mean,
that.
that's up to you, but
Yeah, wrap
my opinion is extending northerly would be the solution rather than going into the eastern. So,
Wrap around deck that
Yeah.
actually is a feature in many cases.
It would add some character to the house too. Right.
again, the limitation is our egress window.
Right.
We can't,
It's not up there.
can't build a deck over an egress window. We won't have
I,
egress.
sorry, I can't hear you.
Our limitation there is the egress window. We can't cover our egress window. There's also a spigot, a water spigot that's right there on the corner that we're
Well,
covering up as well.
Is it the same height that the window in the front is? You're gonna meet
This is
that
a-
window with the deck, right?
This is an egress window that's coming from the basement that we need to have.
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah, it's,
There's two egress windows.
It would have been nice
You're
if
too close.
we'd had a shot of the house, so, you know, it's.
Do you guys
we're
happen to
kinda-
have a picture of it?
You gotta realize we're kind of shooting in the dark here. We don't know what the house
yeah, I
looks
mean, the
like.
egress window is drawn on that drawing.
What's the distance between the egress window and the corner of the house?
Make sure you guys are talking loud enough so everybody at home can hear.
Yes, loudly, please.
This microphone's not that sensitive. You need to
Yeah, so
project.
I've got the picture. Sorry, I don't have it for everybody.
Bob, here's what the house looks like.
So this is the corner, this is the north side of the house, that's the egress window, it's probably 4 feet from that corner, I would estimate 4 feet. There's also, like I said, the water spigot there that prevents. This is the cover on that egress.
Oh, I
window.
see, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the water spigot.
And this is what you're trying to accommodate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so there's our sliding glass door.
I see it.
Scott, I have a question for you. On the left-hand side of this home,
That's the egress window.
that's the egress window there, right?
Yes,
This is the lake.
correct, this is the lake,
Oh,
yes. That's our sliding glass door. That's the egress window cover.
mhm.
That's water spigot that we'll be covering up.
You want to see?
Okay.
So that's our
The
limitation. for-
egress, yeah, they're negotiating points, is what I'm saying,
Sure.
the water spigot, you know, and the window. How far is the window from the corner of the house?
I would estimate 4 feet based on the picture. I don't have that exact.
And Scott, can you make sure you show, she's also on the board.
Okay, sure.
Talking about that window being
Yes.
here.
Yes, so there's, you can see the cover, the egress window right in the corner there. That's the water spigot. That's the corner. This is our sliding glass door.
So this here is where the house starts. Here.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right
Yes,
here.
yes, sorry.
This is the sliding.
I was just gonna wait until,
And this here is your water spigot,
Yes,
and this is the egress window
Yes.
that you can't cover up.
right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that, one of the unique things about this, sorry about that. One of the unique things about this unnecessary hardship that is it can't be self-imposed. By buying the material and getting it ready, that's self-imposed without going ahead and getting your permit. If there was something obstructing the construction or anything else, naturally, there is what the ordinance refers to unnecessary hardship. It has to be something unique to the property to prevent the use of the property at that point. Okay, and this is one of the sticking points you have. I emphasize with you, but
Yeah, I guess my response to that, I understand what you're saying, and I think the hardship came because I thought I was doing everything right. I went to the town of Rome, talked through it, I understand their requirements.
Yeah.
Never ever fathomed that I'd have to get another opinion or another
Yeah.
permit for the county, right? So I thought I did everything right in planning. We came to the point where building, we thought we had contacted the right people, purchased materials, hired a contractor, and then found out we had different requirements from the county. And that's, I guess, what I would consider the hardship. Maybe it doesn't.
Well, hardship is kind of a strong word too. I mean, because if you think about an obstacle, it's we didn't build the house ourselves, right? We
I
purchased it.
understand.
We purchased it to have the lake view and to enjoy the lake view, and building the deck. We're prevented from building the size of the deck that we need as a family because of the limitations of the property. And now it's the limitations of the house, because I too thought wraparound porch, I liked the idea of it, we considered it, but there was no way to add any length
Is that
to
an
it.
escape window that you have?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, there are bedrooms
Question,
downstairs.
from the Adams County setback to that, window on the left-hand side of the building, you have a distance on there?
On the left.
From here to that window, you have a distance
This window.
Yeah.
Um,
from that setback.
I don't have a picture of that side of the house. I would estimate from here to here, certainly 20 feet.
So my question is it possible you move that deck this way, to the
Again,
left, or?
yeah, the issue is it's not functional. This is where our sliding glass door is.
Mhm.
There's a living area here with no door access. There's also a screened porch here
Okay.
that has,
Mhm.
it's not functional to access it, I guess, from this side.
Because of the trees on
You,
the trees on the
that
left-hand
was,
side.
I was gonna ask you, you cannot expand south
Right.
and cover the front where your peak of, the peak of the house is there. And then go completely over to the other corner.
Well, they got an egress window over there too.
Right. If there's an egress window, there are also trees. So if you look at the picture on the left-hand side, all of those trees, they kind of curve toward the side of the house. So we wouldn't be taking those trees out.
Let me ask this question. Bob originally said, rather than 20 feet, 18 feet. Could you live with that?
He said 18 feet.
Or 18 feet? I mean, can we live with that? I mean, I can.
Which
Uh,
proposal, Bob?
I'm torn on that one. I think it should be, a little closer to the lot line, a little less. That you give more.
You're cutting out of the 20 feet,
Yeah, 2 feet.
Yeah.
2 feet?
Yeah, I knew that. That would boil down to this discussion and negotiation of how far. I'd probably, if it came to a vote, I'd say no on 2 and yes on 4.
How about 3?
Let's wait to the vote, I guess.
Well, so if somebody would need to make a motion to
I'm gonna make
amend,
a motion that we allow this 2 feet away, 18 feet rather than 20.
you're making a motion to amend the application to a 20-foot setback instead of an 18.
To 18 rather than 20, whatever you want to call
Just
Uh, Right? Okay. I go by the setback.
it. Okay. all right.
So it'd be a 20-foot setback instead of the requested 18. This is just a motion to amend the application. It's not the vote on the application. It is only to amend it. And there is a motion.
I need
Call for a second
clarification on that motion.
I seconded
Oh, you
it.
second.
To reduce the setback, to allow a setback of 20 feet. To change the application request to 20-foot setback.
And they're asking for 18.
So there is a motion and a second.
Made and
So Bob
seconded.
understands that, this 18 to 20. The deck goes down to 18 feet, so you got 20-foot setback.
Yes.
That's my motion.
And it was second. So if you want to call,
Second. Any more further discussion on this?
No. No further discussion.
All in favor of this
amending the application.
amending the application? Please signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All right, so the application has been amended. Now you need a motion
To,
to approve the amended application.
okay,
I'm also moved on that.
I will second that.
okay, motion's been made to approve the application. Any further discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, it was approved 4-0. I have an amended application, so you're looking at 18 feet, an 18-foot deck instead of a 20. The more important part is the 20-foot setback. in case your measurements are off by a couple inches, I'm looking at the 20-foot setback, not that it's an 18-foot deck.
But they can
That
make
makes
it This way. Setback this way, but they can make it longer this way, because the setback is a step. Correct?
As part of this deck, well, no, you approved a 25-foot wide deck. So it's now going to be a 25 by 18 deck.
But they can make it 27 if they. so
No,
desire. They
You
can
approved a
add
20-foot, you approved a 25-foot wide deck. All right, that's the last application. I said that's the last application. If you want to, next meeting is
Oh, yeah.
7th of June.
Sorry.
June 7th, same time, same place.
Same people?
Not them.
No guess.
Unless you want us back.
Right.
come back.
Yeah, so June 7th, 10:30 here. And that's all I have.
Adjourn with a.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made, second to adjourn, all in favor?
All right.
All right.